Hey everyone, it's Matt C. And remember that political compass meme that was going around back in like 2016 on your Facebook account, back when you had a Facebook account? So I've actually been thinking about this thing, uh, especially in light of coming out with my comic Kyrie, link in the description. Uh, because I kind of packed the story, so I was kind of writing the story. The big strokes back in 2014, 15, and 16, thereabouts, mostly 2015. It was an interesting time for politics, as a person or two might have noticed. And uh, I was also reading John Truby's Anatomy of Story, and it's the best book out there that I've ever found. He's kind of a story doctor. So for those of you who aren't aware of that phrase, and I didn't know it till he said it, and I had to look it up and be like, is this just kind of a word that he uses for himself, or is this actually a thing? Turns out it's a thing. It means that he is brought in to fix stories that are good but not great um, in Hollywood, and he doesn't get writing credits, but he gets paid more. So he's got that freelance kind of lifestyle, and apparently, and he's worked on a lot of titles, and he's done a lot of good stuff. And I really like what he has to say. So basically, that's my pitch for his book. Highly recommend it. He talks about how you need an assembly of protagonists, and how each of them needs to be antagonists to each of the others, and you kind of need to kind of web map this sort of thing out before you actually start writing the script. It helps provide, because each of these protagonists are going to need to help define each other, and their way they're going to do that is through their differences. Obviously, they're going to have similarities enough to all be protagonists within the story that you're trying to tell, and in all likelihood, they're going to be allies or friends on some level. Uh, they're going to be following the same narrative line in most cases, but their differences are going to be how you bring out the challenging questions of your story, the premise line to the thing. Uh, and yeah, so he suggests four characters, so I wrote four protagonists, and he and because he thinks about how each of them need to be pulling in terms of opposites, and because of the story that I wrote for Kyrie, which deals a lot with it. So it's called Kyrie, as in Kyrie eleison. And after you finish singing Mr. Mister in your head, and you finish thinking about that Celtics point guard, it's a Greek phrase. It means Lord have mercy. It's an early Christian hymn, and it's also so basically, I just kind of took the Lord out of it. That's what Kyrie. It's just been conjugated or whatever. It's Kyrion, Lord, and it's all about lords. Who's the Lord? Who's the master? And who gets to decide that? And those who think they have no master do. they've just opted out of they've they've made a intellectual choice to not intellectually choose who their master is. Is kind of how I'm going about it. I've just kind of made that up on the spot. That might not be true. I gotta think through that. But anyway, so this political compass thing. Each of my four protagonists fit in each of these four squares, and because they're protagonists, they need to evolve over the story. So, okay, so actually, like on my image on the screen, there's like there's a big dude on the left. That's Marcus. He leans more libertarian left is kind of where I'd place him, and he kind of spikes up into authoritarian left at different points. He's got, and that's key. I mean, I think that inconsistency is key because the character has to be broken, and they have to have a need that's ruining their life that they don't understand very well, that they're trying to fix in a poorly understood way through their wants. And over the course of the story, they're going to realize what their need is, or it's going to be made realized to them, and they're either going to have that need fixed in a very concrete way, or it's going to be a tragedy and they succumb to despair or some kind of refusal of the needs healing. You'll have to, so no spoilers there. You have to find out if Marcus gets that, if any of these characters get it. So he's more libertarian left, and Myra over on the right, she's more libertarian right, and she spikes up into authoritarian right at times. You know what? I just said that, and I did a bit of prep before working on this, but I'm gonna flip that. you can tell how much prep I did. She's actually a bit more on the authoritarian side, and she dips down when things get close to her need. She's triggered to jump down into kind of more of a libertarian right sort of thing. So there's two more protagonists. Tertius, he is definitely more. He is the authoritarian left, and he struggled, and so he's a I didn't tell you who these characters are. Marcellus, he's the kind of bookworm who's like a reformed scholar and soldier for a secret society embedded within generations deep within the Roman government elite. Myra is she's a treasure hunter, rogue, opportunist, and a big old cynic and skeptic about most things, and that ties into lots of backstory elements that come out as we tell the story. And so Tertius, he's a authoritarian left, and he's a soldier. He survived a shipwreck, and in order for the libertarian left, Marcus, to keep him safe, they have to travel. They have to drag him along on their quest, and because he failed as a soldier, so he gets the death penalty for not guarding well, which is a true thing. They used to do that. So he's trying to keep him safe at all costs, which means keeping him in this dangerous quest they have to track down history on Alexander the Great through North Africa. And he kind of spikes down because he has to pretend he is a prisoner, and he especially has to pretend to be one. He has to pretend to be a slave as the story advances and as they meet new people, including the fourth protagonist. He kind of reconsiders some of his authoritarian prospects, and that gets kind of interesting. And then there's the definitively libertarian right leaning character, Axiel. And Axiel is so he's a Tuareg Berber prince, and he's a cynic in a different way from Myra. Rather than trying to control things in order to balance the problems that he sees in society, which is kind of what Myra is after. And again, she's in a lot of ways she's more libertarian, but uh, she's complicated, as you'll see. Uh, Axial, his best idea is to leave things alone, but his core need, his wound, and his need is to have that wound healed. His wound is going to lead him to want to be more authoritarian in places. That's going to cause struggle, and obviously all four of these characters are kind of politically opposed to each other, and I think that's what tells good stories. So I can as each kind of dialogue scene happens, not only am I advancing the plot, but I get to show how these opposing kind of worldviews actually conflict and where they agree, and through that conflict, I get to character develop. I'm saying I mean this is something I stole from John Truby, and it's something that really recommend. Obviously, I mean, as a story doctor, he's doing something that is common in Hollywood, and I think, say what you will about Hollywood, they know how to write scripts. They know the process for telling a story efficiently in a way where you understand it the first time through, which I think is a significant skill. So I'm trying to learn that. I'm trying to apply these techniques, and that's kind of, so that's the political spectrum, the political compass of the four characters in Kyrie. And just as an addendum, so I've got four protagonists, four political worldviews. I think that sort of thing is that used to be common. It's not so much anymore. I feel like people, in order to make they feel like things maybe are a bit chaotic politically, and they want to retreat to into telling stories that only tell one political point of view. And as someone, just speaking for myself, as someone who has held all four of these at different times in my life and settled into one, but being more libertarian, I'm open to contrasting ideas. I think I can validly portray all four, and I can validly I can critique all four too, which I think is healthy, and I think that tells a more dynamic story. I know this is kind of like a pitch for my own sort of thing, but I think you can apply it. It's the same sort of thing you should be doing in your stories, and that you should be looking for in well-told tales on whenever you're perusing the bookshelves. So anyway, so that's kind of my thought for the day. Political diversity in stories helps people think things through, and if you want to change minds, you better understand your opposition, and you better be able to portray. And if you're telling stories, you better be able to portray that opposition in a way where your opposition actually says, "Yeah, that's I agree with that. That's my view." You better be able to do that. If you only can caricaturize your people with whom you disagree politically, you're not going to be changing anyone's minds anytime soon. You're part of the problem, not part of the solution. So, yep, that's my thought for the day. Hope you guys have a good one, and I'll talk to you soon. Oh, and check out my comic Kyrie. The pre-launch campaign, the link to that is in the description. If we can get up to, I'm shooting for around 100 subscribers, just to get notified of when this thing launches. That's what the email sign up is. If you sign up for that, I wanna hit day one hard. That's gonna help with the analytics on this, the algorithm kind of things, and it's gonna help ensure it's gonna set the tone for the rest of the campaign. So we're shooting for 30 days, and we want day one to be the best day. So I'm not gonna press the button until we get 100. So if you're interested in this story, just go ahead and sign up. And if you buy a book, I'll be sending you a free postcard with one of the issue covers on it. Pretty cool stuff. Just for signing up, and then buying the book, and then I'll put the postcard inside the book. That's kind of how that works. If you buy on day one, I'll get you a second postcard, and if you buy on within the first 7 days, you get a third. Obviously, if you buy on day one, that's included within the 7 days, so you get 2 postcards. And if you share your confirmation ID, which is just like ID, it's just like a number. It's like hashtag 0038. That's all that is. If you share that on social media and tag me that you bought the book, whenever you do that within the campaign, day 1 through 30, then you get postcard number 4. So you can get 4 free postcards included with the $20 book if you just do those simple sort of things. So that kind of helps. I'm trying to give you free stuff for helping me out. That's kind of how I'm trying to run this campaign. Anyway, so that's the pitch, and I'll talk to you later. Bye.